just like that, we have only one episode left. Last week we signed off as Flint stole the cache of gems and disappeared into the jungle. Now, the setup for Treasure Island is in full flow, as Silver and his band of pirates searched high and low to find Captain Flint before he buries the treasure. We spent almost the full hour on Skeleton Island, which is exactly what I was after. Their relationship imploded when Silver saw Flint fleeing the shore with the cash in hand. He felt betrayed and lashed out with a kill order to each of his 6 men. Now, the likelihood of them succeeding with that order was always slim at best, but with the numbers also matching up, it seemed almost a certainty for Flint to survive at least one more day. Predictions wise, we were correct, as the only ones left standing who stepped foot on the island were Flint, Silver and Israel Hands. When the end of a series approaches, especially with one like this, deaths are unavoidable. That said, even with this being the penultimate episode, we lost no less than 3 long-standing cast members. Georgie, the silent and deadly pirate who actually has more appearances than most would have thought, was the first to go. Though it's not a bad way to go out getting his own duel with one of the main characters in the show, so in that sense, being killed 1v1 versus Flint was an honour. The next up, and in quick succession, were Dooley and the Groot. At first I thought that Flint was going to put a bullet in Dooley's head after they'd buried the treasure, but after confronting Silver towards the climax of the episode, Flint did end up killing him, but it was only to save Silver's life. More on that in a moment, as the final of the 3 notable deaths was the quickest and the most real. We don't know who did it, and we don't need to know, but the ambush on the Walrus left all of the crew helpless as the launchers from the governor's ship picked off all of those in the water, including Mr. de Groot. We were fixated on Ben Gunn at the time, who will likely be left stranded on Skeleton Island, but de Groot being killed off like that made for a more realistic feeling to how characters, no matter how long they've been around, can be lost in the blink of an eye. That ambush by Rogers has left the pirates' numbers in tatters. I don't think anyone but Ben Gunn will end up surviving that attack, and I don't think he'll be a part of what comes next anyway. Now, circling back to Flint and Silver, we saw the disastrous outcome of how their friendship fell apart throughout last week's episode. Now, I love me a good flashback, and if it's done the correct way, it can be a stroke of genius. And this was just that, as Silver reminisced about his time with Flint, where their bond was stronger than ever before. Flint taught him how to fight, or more specifically, how to fight and not die. I'll admit a lingering question I've had since Silver led the pirates in Nassau was how he got such a good sword arm. Well, now we know. And it came full circle as the pair came to blows at the end of the episode. Those expecting a fight were justly rewarded, as we were treated to a feast of swordplay as Flint fought in not 1, not 2, but in over 3 separate duels. In essence, this episode was a testament to Flint's combat abilities. He fought the first random pirate, which led directly into another fight with Georgie. And later on, he bested the Walking Reaper Israel Hands, and finally, he fought Silver. The pair's neat little flashbacks tied in with the present wonderfully, as Silver's emotions got the better of him as he lunged into a battle with Flint. Flint clearly wasn't trying to kill him, that much was apparent after he shot Dooley when he was about to shoot Silver. But their battle was cut short as they looked to reunite for their common enemy. However, one huge question remains. Can Silver work together with Flint to defeat Rogers, who just wiped out pretty much his entire crew? Or will their fallout be too great for them to overcome? Let's hope that they can defeat him together.
And as long as that is true, I cannot imagine what is possible.
My overall verdict for the penultimate episode of Black Sails is a 9 out of 10. It was a pivotal week heading into the series finale, and this week's episode most definitely delivered the goods. It was high on action and high on emotion, as all of these characters we came to know and love over the past 4 years now have only 1 hour remaining. Near enough, the full episode was dedicated to Skeleton Island as the location was given its time to shine. The dense forest and all that came with it made for a stunning location as we explored the ins and outs of the island as we hunted for Flint and the cache. The island made for one hell of a scenery as the trees, shrubs, mist, rivers, all of it contributed to the legend of this mysterious island. It is a worthy location for the treasure to call home. And the only time that we left the island was either for the flashbacks or following Jack's pursuit of finding the very same island. He was hitting a few snags along his way, but I would be surprised if he didn't find his way there in the season finale. Again, we lost plenty of men this week, as we've already mentioned. De Groot, Dooley, Joji, but the most devastating of all you could say was the Walrus. Flint's flagship was lit aflame and was destroyed in the distance as the captain watched on. I imagine he will eye some revenge for that. And for all of the wonderful scenes we were treated to, I have to say the opening flashbacks of Flint and Silver that persisted throughout deserve a special mention. The highlights no doubt were the fighting scenes, but the smart cutbacks which were similar in vein to last year's season 3 finale made for a more meaningful showdown at the end. You knew Flint didn't want to fight, but Silver just didn't care. Even after Flint told him that he still intends to save Maddie's life. Silver's sole focus was on her alone, and it made him not see the full picture. At least, in Flint's eyes, he wants to defeat the governor and remove him once and for all. But Silver just can't see past Flint's words, and believes what he's stringing together are all in total a means for his own gain. He has lost his trust in Flint, and now that only them both and Hans likely remain, how are they going to work together again and achieve their overall goal? Will they try to bargain with Rogers, try to lure him onto the island where a trap remains? Because if they can work together, we already know there is nothing that they can't achieve. And with the imminent arrival of Jack and Featherstone looking more and more likely, the numbers could even out quickly. All we know for sure is that even though there are barely any pirates left, the ones that do remain have an ace up their sleeves, or more specifically, Flint does. And that is the cache. How will it all unfold? Well, only one more week to see how it all ends. So what did you guys think about this week's penultimate episode, and were you surprised by any of the deaths that played out this week? And what are some of your predictions for the series finale? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the review. And I'll see you on the next one.
Seems to me what you'll really be teaching me is how to defeat you.
I'll take my chances. Shall we?